Welcome. This is the August 12th meeting for the Finance Committee. We will now ask everyone to stand. Gentlemen, remove your hats and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We've had a bit of a change in the Finance Committee makeup. We are welcoming Councilperson Polk to the committee, who will be taking the place of President Marshall, who stepped down today. This evening, we will be receiving information from the department head. And because of the nature of this meeting, there's no public comment because this ordinance hasn't been filed yet. And so public comment at this time would be premature. There will be opportunities for the public to comment both at the public hearing that we will have and at the meetings where the budget is introduced, and then the subsequent meeting when it is adopted. So what we would like to do at this time is call Chief Bell up, and we will start with the fire department. Welcome, Chief.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Mr. Polk, if you have any questions along the way, since you literally just picked this up the first time. All right. Does everybody have that? Mm-hmm. All right. Chief, the line items for chief, deputy chief, chief inspector, captains, is those increases just reflect the 2%?
They do.
Okay, thank you. And then the battalion chief's line item, will that be reduced? Will you be continuing to fill that battalion chief position, or?
We are at this time continuing to keep that filled.
Thank you. And so all of these, the line items referring to employees, all those increases just reflect the 2% raises, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. And so we come down to comp time, which is 10121 411 163. That's a new line item, sir?
It is a line item that wasn't currently used. We already had a line for that, but it wasn't used, but we are wanting to break that out so we can basically, so people can see exactly what is being used for overtime and minimum staffing. And there has been some questions over that, so we want to make absolutely sure that people can see everything.
All right, and those next three line items, OJC, out of job classification, employee uniforms, and the merit rank, those are all new line items. Where were those totals being paid out of from before?
Okay, the certification, are you talking about the certification rank pay, master firefighter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is something new from 2019. We have had to draw from different things to make that work. That is something that the council agreed to contractually for 2019, something that has just started. That is, if you would, that is Article 2002 in the contract book.
Okay.
And basically what that is that list out of 101 fund, 55 members, out of Lowit, 5 members, which basically the 60 members would be $82,500, and out of the Lowit, it would be just the same, the $23,000, $568 for 9 men, and out of the 101, $21,211.74 for a grand total of master firefighter $44,780.34.
Okay, so that line item is for the new master firefighters that was put in this year?
It is, and if you would add that into the other thing that we've added in there is a certification pay and that is Article 2003, which the council agreed to contractually to start this year, and I believe there was a ceiling on that of $50,000.
Yes, sir.
So that total of all three of those things are $184,780.
Okay. And again, those, because those are new line items, where were those things were being paid for before? Where did those come out of? What line item did those come out of before?
Those are being drafted from several different things.
Okay.
She skipped over it, didn't she? It's okay.
Okay. The line item for lieutenants actually went down? Are we changing?
I believe that's because of something that is in 105, Lowett.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. And then the increases in Social Security, Medicare, city share perf, health insurance, those all reflect just
Just the common multiples. And there was a mistake last year with the perf and clothing. You guys are free to do whatever you want with it, but the total amount of the perf for this year, I put into 101 general fund, $997,024.
okay. And life insurance went up $735.
We added in 5%.
Okay, Mr. Niemeyer, what is the price per employee for life insurance, sir?
It's about $100. It doesn't vary too much.
Okay. All right. And then, would you like to go per, Councilperson Polk, would you like to go per space as far, per category for questions? or
Yeah,
would-
that'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have any questions in regards to personal service, sir?
I don't at this time.
You
I do
don't?
not.
That's fine, and
Nope, I'm good at this time.
we'll move on. Office supplies went up $5,000.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that?
Just the need for, different office supplies.
Okay.
I think that's a rather low number, and there's other things that we need to get within the office that we've not been able to get on a regular basis.
Well, mid-year, you'd only spent 39% of your office supplies appropriation of $10,000.
Right. We order before the end of the year, basically, usually in October. We make a pretty good order to take us through the end of the year.
Okay. The entire amount spent last year was only $10,000.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the max. That's what we had.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Gas and oil stayed the same. Tires, training. And again, let's see here. Let's see. Like ammo and training, tires. Tires, you spent 13%. Is that something that happens at the end of the year, sir, or is that?
Generally, at the end of the year, we will check tires. We'll go through the whole department and use what we can, what we've got left.
So you proceed using the remainder of that line item?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And fire prevention supplies, you spent $4,000 last year. You're budgeted $10,000 this year, and as of June, you'd only spent 11%. Is that something?
That is what the secretary orders out, all of the kids' items late in the year. So those go out to the schools and everything else.
Okay. All right. Councilman Polk, do you have any questions regarding supplies?
No, not this time.
Councilperson Moore, do you have any questions regarding supplies?
No, ma'am.
All right, we'll move on. Let's see here. Okay. Postage. Is that something as of mid-year, you've spent 4% of that? Is that
Yeah. That could change from year to year. I think, what is the total on postage? $200 and
$500?
$500? Yeah. So that just depends.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You're fine.
Thank you.
And electricity went up. Are those utilities, are those set by you or are those set by Board of Works?
No, we pay those. They went up $5,000 because we've added a new facility.
Okay.
And that would be the training center.
When did the training facility was in operation last year, correct?
Absolutely, and we ran out of money.
Let's see. Okay.
You can see the transfers.
Yes, sir. Okay. And then repair and maintenance went up $25,000. Is there something that,
It did. That $100,000 is not enough to stay on top of all of the mechanics and all the problems that we have with vehicles on a day-to-day basis. If you put fire truck in front of something, the cost is much more than it is for a regular automobile. So that is just not enough to do the job.
okay. All right. And we have subscriptions and dues. You've spent none of that. Is that something that,
That's something that basically we don't really deal with. That's something that's
thank you.
years ago.
And furniture and fixtures,
Yes.
that is, you spent 3% as of June, and you've increased that line, or no, you've kept that line item at $15,000?
We have spent another $8,000 on new mattresses for every bed within the city and all 7 fire stations, and we have other things that we are going to deal with before the end of the year, but that is almost $8,000 just on the mattresses.
Okay. So we'll move down. Councilman Polk, do you have anything on services and charges, please?
I don't. No.
Councilman, all right, we'll move down to the last one, capital outlays. Let's see, improvements. Improvements, you've spent 13% at $9,000 is what you spent last year, and you've budgeted $80,000 for this year. Do you foresee?
Absolutely. We're going through every fire station right now. We have just accepted another bid for approximately $8,000 on flooring. We've went through 3 fire stations, and before the end of the year, we will go through all of those. So that money will be used up. That's money that we are using on a regular basis. So.
Okay. And with capital equipment, I believe that's the same thing. You've spent 4% as of June.
I don't know what the new total is. We've used it since June.
Okay. And I use June because it's just kind of halfway through the year. That way
Right.
we can say
Right.
if things fall below 25% or above.
We've certainly used much more than that.
Thank you. All right. And I think that is all for that. Sir, do you have any questions on that one? All right. Let's see. Well, let's move over to the Lowit timesheet. That is put over to the side. Okay. So your Lowit for Medicare went up about $6,000. Are you just
Yes.
trying to transition that expense into the Lowit side, or do you expect your Medicare to go up that high?
The multiplier that I was given, that's what the numbers come up from the controller's office.
Okay. And then you decided to move the city share perf back to the general fund?
Absolutely, because it was in both places last year because of the mistake that we went back and forth. It was in public safety Lowit, then it was in the general fund. So just for clarity, it is in the general fund, and you can move it wherever you want as long as the amount stays the same.
Okay. And so, Mr. Niemeyer, how much Lowit is available, is estimated in 2020 per both?
Total police and fire is 2.9 million. So,
2.9 million for both?
Yeah.
You'll have, so roughly about
yeah, 1,450,000.
1,450,000. And Chief Bell, so you've budgeted $900,000 of that $1.4 million.
This is the same amount that we budgeted last year. This is the same amount that was asked for from us. We have got the same manpower levels. We've not changed anything.
Okay, but by not budgeting that Lowit money into play, you take a larger portion of the general fund, correct?
Well, that I don't know. I guess my question would be, this is not a DLGF fund, correct?
It is not a certified fund?
It is not a DLGF fund, correct?
No, it's
Not a
not a
certified fund.
DLGF approved fund, no.
Okay, so that would be something that would be controlled elsewhere, but again, this is something that I have not touched. We've kept the same manpower levels, we kept the same officers, we've kept everything in this that was in it before.
Okay, but my comment was just the fact that by not spending that, that takes 600, by not pushing that, even a portion of that into, to be utilized, you're in essence using more money out of the general fund, which can't be utilized by the departments.
I suppose if you wanted to see it that way, you could.
And then, the Center Township Fund 104, is that, did you break that down into line items?
Did I what?
Did you, was it broken down into line items, or was it just the one, it was appropriated into the one line item?
No, I don't control as far as the budget on that. We have, that is something that's set aside, and I believe we've already put in place as far as how it is broken up. But no, we have not, just the revenue, just the equipment, and everything else as far as that goes. But we have not broken it.
You haven't put it into line items?
No.
Okay. So, Mr. Niemeyer, I guess I ask you then, the $400,000 that will be receipted into that Fund 104, it's in other services and charges, what will that be used for?
That will be used for, obviously, the BLS that we start, the units.
All right. And your current staffing level is 110, correct? Is that
It is.
110 with the...
110 total that we're asking to be approved.
Okay. And that includes the EMS director?
110, it is, we are at 19 right now.
All right, thank you. All right. And so, Councilperson Polk, do you have anything to add?
No, no.
So your general fund budget for 2019 was $8,849,619, and your general fund budget for 2020, the proposed general fund budget is $10,347,448, with 1.45 in Lowit and 400,000 in 104. Okay. Councilwoman Moore?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Now we'll be moving on to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do we have this?
Yes, actually is, pardon us. This actually is both departments because Mr. Niemeyer, so that will be the fire department, and then this is the police department. Yes.
In Gateway, we're not allowed to split it into two accounts like we do here. They don't care that we do, but they won't
They
do what we do.
All right. So, just 1 minute while we switch gears, please. And then that goes there. All right. Next, we will be listening to the budget proposal from personnel. His speech.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hold on 1 second. You will find that budget on, okay, you got that for 2019? All right. Welcome and thank you for coming in. All right. Okay. Your two salary positions actually went down from what, 2019 to 2020?
I'm not showing that they did. I'm showing that the amount for 2019 was $53,833 for my position, and the amount for 2020 is $54,932.
I'm seeing that it's
Yeah.
52,983.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
That's me. I changed that so it reflected the salary ordinance.
Okay.
So I'm sure I think we must have had incorrect figures last year.
I'm just going off of what's,
Okay. I just wondered why.
And I'll double check that.
yeah,
I'll
I
double
think,
check. to make sure
I'm going to say, Kevin, I think you might want to re-look at that, because I
Okay.
think you made a mistake on it. Do you want the numbers that I have presented, or?
Please, yes.
Okay, so line item 411024 should be, you're wanting the proposed budget, right? Okay.
ma'am.
54,932,
And then for your personnel specialist?
and that's line item 411030,
Yes.
40,246.
Okay. And those both reflect the 2%?
That reflects the 2%, yes.
Okay.
And then the next line item would be 411046 for the part-time position, and that remains the same.
Right.
Um,
Hold on 1 second, please. That part-time, according to the income statement, you haven't spent any as of yet?
Okay, well, I'm not sure what month you're looking at, but we have. Yeah, we have.
First?
Yeah, we did kind of hold off, trying to be a little bit fiscally responsible on, so that we didn't
Okay.
run out of money on that. But and that's the same for the mayor's office also. I'm sure that'll come up at some point for you. But those positions have been hired, and they are being spent out of right now,
Okay.
so.
And again, I pulled the end of June, just because it's a dead set in the middle, and we kind of get an idea of,
When I leave here, I will give you the most recent one that
I
maybe?
have it.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
kind of do that middle of the year so that we see where we are at the midpoint of the year.
A lot of expenses don't come in until the later part of the year, though.
We
so that's-
see that a lot in the other departments, the street department and the parks
Mm-hmm.
department as well. Thank you. Okay, so the increases in Social Security, Medicare, and PERF are most likely because of that contractual increase.
Yes, ma'am.
Health insurance went up. Is that a formula?
Yeah, I think looking at that, looked at the last year's, where we came in on that at the end of the year, and so I think I just kind of raised it a little bit to make sure that we didn't fall short in that line item.
Okay. And then we have unemployment went up. 20,000.
Unemployment, and it should go up in probably every department at this point in time, as there will be an administrative change at the next year, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of people out of jobs, so there will be unemployment expenses.
Okay. And then the next, it went down, but I wanted to ask you, how did the employee assistant program, that was a new initiative that you did?
Right, we started that last year, and that was another thing that I was going to bring up on this. It is showing that we had that budgeted in 2019 for $25,000, and I
Right.
believe that the council cut that in the budget process last year, so I'm not sure why it's still reflecting that high. I thought it went down to about 5,000. But nonetheless, it's what it's reflecting right now in the budget. I am taking that down to $2,000 because I do not, with this being the first year, we were not sure what the expenses would be on it. I don't see it exceeding the $2,000. I'm sorry, I put them on so I can look down, and then when I look up, you're completely blurry to me. I don't foresee it ever exceeding that amount unless there was some major thing go on,
And I
so,
thi- I
but
think that
it has
was-
been useful, and I
Good.
appreciate that being added to the budget.
And I think that was one of those situations where you came and said, initially thought 25,000, and then you said, I don't think we'll need quite that much, and we amended that and down to 5,000, but I'm glad that it is something.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I'm not sure this is the appropriate time to bring this up, but because that is in my budget, and it will not be used, and it will just revert back to the general fund if nothing
Right?
is done with it, I would like to suggest to council that we have one department, the animal shelter, that is struggling desperately right now. They are consistently underfunded, and I would like to be able to transfer that money over to the animal shelter for them to use for the remainder of this year, if possible.
That is definitely something we can take, as a council, take into consideration.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Training and fees, you've taken that down.
I did take that down, again, not sure what will be happening next year. That's what I came into office with, it being that amount, so I just put it back to what it was when I came back in. Currently, if you're looking at the current budget, I have used none of that at this
Right.
point, but again, depending on what the next few months are here, and I'm really not sure what the next few months will be, there is some training that I would like to take in October, but I'm hesitant to pay for it until I know exactly, we get a little bit closer, and I'm sure that I'm still here at that point, so.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Right. Everything else, going all the way down to improvements, you reduced that by $25,000?
Okay, what we had in there by the $30,000 was to pay for a software upgrade that I am very, very grateful that the council approved. However, right now, and if you look in where we're at right now, none of that has been spent. I'm waiting on IT to
Okay,
do whatever they do with it. I do know that they are looking at additional upgrades on it, so I'm just kind of in a holding pattern on that. But I believe that there will be a yearly stipend or something that you have to pay every year to the computer software company or whatever, so that's why I took it down to 5,000.
okay. And then, is that the same as the computer and printer?
Computer and printer, we just purchased the new computer and printer for the new employee, and so I don't believe that there will need to be another expense as that high, but I would like to, at least for the new, whoever the new administration is, to have some money there in case they need to make any kind of different improvements.
And subscriptions and dues,
That is, next month I will re-up this, my dues on a couple of different organizations, and so there will be some money spent out of that, so.
okay, all right. Let me see here. Okay. Councilperson Moore, do you have any questions in regards to this budget?
Nope, but I agree with transferring to the animal shelter.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I realize that
They are
it's
in-
difficult, but there is at least $20,000 here that could go to paying for additional
And I appreciate
hours and
that.
stuff like that, so.
Very
Thank you.
If you would like me to put together an ordinance, because that would have to be an ordinance, I believe, not a transfer or a resolution, I can do that for next month if you would like. After you guys talk about it, I mean, I don't,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, so.
All right. And Councilperson Hall, do you have any questions over the personnel budget?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And so in 2019, your budget was $230,314, and you've actually reduced your budget to $198,888. If we have any questions over that, we'll touch base with you.
I'm showing mine is 200, it went from 230,344 to 201,688.
Because of the,
Yeah,
Just,
okay. Could you repeat that last total again?
201,688.
Thank you, ma'am.
I am going to give this to you just so that you have that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll make copies for you guys. All right.
Is there anything else from me?
I believe we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we'll do human rights. Is Yvonne? Human rights is next.
And I gotta find it.
Give us just a second, Miss Yvonne. We're gonna find you in here.
Is that the same as civil rights?
Civil rights, yes.
Thank you.
It's in your budget form 1 under civil rights. Let's get our papers here, right? How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fine, thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity to come before you.
Appreciate you coming forward. Let me get all these things, many papers. It is on page 8. And yours might be a little different because yours actually is a later time, but it should be human rights. There we are.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And so once again, the increases in salary reflect the contractual
Correct.
amount?
That's correct.
And Social Security, Medicare, PERF, all increased because of those salary increases?
That is correct.
And I'm going to ask, Mr. Niemeyer, did you instruct them a certain percentage of health insurance increase, or was
no,
it?
no, because we decreased it, council decreased it last year by about, what, 10%?
Yes.
So if they submitted the same thing as they originally did last year, that probably would work out just right.
Got it. Okay, thank you, sir. And so unemployment went up, but that,
We don't have it.
Do you,
We don't.
you're not eligible to receive that?
No.
Why is that?
It's been like that since I've been here. So I don't know.
okay.
Well, since you've been here, you haven't been unemployed.
There you go.
Okay. I stuck it in there, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then I believe that was the only increase you had.
That's it. Yeah. Everything else stayed the same from
Looking through here,
2019.
Your office supplies, as of the mid-year, you'd spent 10%. Is that something that you see being more utilized toward the end of the year, or?
Yeah, because we're with the, in the same area as the building commissioners, we use the same printer. And so we try to help with paper, copy paper, and that kind of thing. So we try to share that expense.
And then you, as of June, at the end of June, actually, you'd spent none of the attorney fees. Is that a contractual thing that's paid at a certain time during the year?
It's when we need it.
Okay.
If that's subpoena or anytime we would need to use that, but we don't usually have to.
And then postage is the same?
Postage.
thing? That's 5%. All right. Do you have any questions, Councilman Polk?
I do not at this time.
Okay. And any questions from you?
No, ma'am?
All right. Your budget went in 2019 from 138,843 to 2020. Your proposed budget is 151,663.
151?
151,663.
The difference is that 10,400
Yeah,
for
we'll
unemployment.
Okay,
address it.
all right. I didn't know those numbers. I don't have that.
And I don't believe you are actually one of the easiest budgets because you're pretty much the same every time.
Thank you.
No other questions? I think we're done there. No other questions? Thank you, Ms. Yvonne.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Even though we're a little early, we'll head on to Prairie Creek Reservoir if Mr. Wright is in the building. So, we are doing Prairie Creek first. Yes.
Okay.
One
Evening.
moment, please. How are you, sir? Just
All
one
right,
second.
yourself?
Pretty good, thank you.
I'm up here for Matt Walker. He's kind of limping there a little bit. Wasn't for sure if he was going to make it, but he was able to make it.
Okay. One moment.
No problem.
Pull this out. It's the very end. Hold on one second. It's usually for the, oh, you've got the entire one. It's usually toward the very end because it is its own separate fund. So it would be Parks Department. On mine, it is page 23.
I see.
Should be.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so starting with Prairie Creek, we have increases in salary, and that reflects the 2% increases from the contract for 2020?
Yes,
Okay. And you have zeroed out the assistant park superintendent for next year, of course?
yes, as well as this year.
Part-time lifeguards went up as well, is that a reflect?
What happened there is we'll also next year be adding we'll be doing some this year, but we'll also be adding staff down at the new bait house / campground store. So it's, there'll be just some part-time that we'll be adding, extra personnel there.
And so that would be paid out of that line item as
Yes.
far as part-time
Yeah.
lifeguard?
Right.
Okay. And then, Mr. Niemeyer, will it be an issue because even with the increases in salaries that were reported, there was no changes as far as the associated costs of Social Security, Medicare, PERF? Will that be an issue for budgeting purposes, or?
Well, I'd like to know how many How many people are receiving those 3?
Well, all we'll be asking for is just, like I said, the extra of just 2 people. We won't be adding, we'll be using some of our existing part-time staff out there. So that's why I say it's just additional on part of it, not all, all the employees that's going to work there.
Well, the FICA, Medicare, and PERF, would that just be for the 2 full-time?
Yes, just for the 2, because we've already got it in the budget for the others.
No, there's plenty of money there for that.
And even though they weren't, it wasn't increased at all from 2019 to 2020, even with the increases in
Correct.
full-time, okay. I just want to make sure that we don't under budget for those items. And then, let's see. Part-time, overtime. And so your part-time and your park security, you spent 13% of that line item. Again, that was in the end of, or the midpoint of the year, so I'm guessing with the summer hours, we've been utilizing more of that.
Yes.
And then also, obviously, with part-time labor, again.
Well, what's getting ready to come up in the part-time labor is where they're taking the piers out of the water, and that will really eat up the part-time money there. We'll have to hire a lot of extra help for that.
Okay. And then moving down from unemployment hasn't changed, uniforms, gas and oil went up $5,000?
Yes.
Okay, but it went up, and yet midpoint through the year, you'd spent 25% of that line item? Is that something, again, that you?
Well, again, we have the mowing clear up to about the 1st of November, last part of October, that we'll be using money for mowing, as well as the trucks. And we just received a new van from the county. They donated it to Prairie Creek from the DCC where they had used it, and they knew we needed one out there to move employees around once we started putting piers out. And so they donated that to it. So, and we have another pickup that we're bringing from the city parks out to Prairie Creek to help Matt and his staff there.
Okay. And then we go down to utilities. Telephone went up almost $1,300.
Yeah, and we were having ongoing problems out there because of the internet. That's still having that problem, Matt, and so we've had to make a few changes.
And so the telephone actually includes the Wi-Fi
Right,
internet?
sure does.
That makes sense. And electricity went up $40,000.
Well, now, also, I will say this. Last year, in May, when Matt took over Prairie Creek, we went through the budget, and I spoke with Kevin on a couple occasions because concerns over looking at the budget, how it had been done in the past, and I went through and dissected it real good this year. So as I told Kevin, that we're getting true figures this year compared to what's been in the past.
All right, thank you. And the last increase is the tax and stormwater fees. It went up about $4,000.
Taxes.
And I'm not even,
What line is that again?
taxes and stormwater fees, 203-29439-035.
No taxes from 7,000.
We can look into that.
No, I see there at, no, that's the sales and taxes that we pay out.
Okay.
And the reason that's going up, again, is our sales tax will be going up because of the addition of the bait house as well as the campground store. And then, of course, we have our taxes on, I believe that's the, hotel we have to pay the hotel tax because of the cabins out there.
Oh, okay, okay.
We have to pay that.
Yes. And so, the renovations that are gonna happen at the boat house, at the bait house, I'm sorry, what line items will that come from?
That, that's what I was gonna ask you, is just like it was, this year, with us finally getting all the line items in, over here at Tui Pool, like we needed.
Right.
That we are going to need a line item, for the money that we bring in, that, anything that, Prairie Creek brings in, that's what, we keep, the park up with, that money.
So you actually want to create an additional income line item to reflect
Right,
that
so we
money
can
in.
use, that money will come back to the parks,
Okay.
out there at Prairie Creek.
All right. Councilman Polk, do you have any questions for Mr. Wright at this time?
I do not.
As in regards to Prairie Creek?
Right.
Councilwoman Moore?
I'm good.
All right.
Now we go to
The Prairie Creek Reservoir budget went up by $55,916 from 2019 to 2020. Yes, sir?
I do have one.
All right.
So my income statement's a little different. It's through August 8th.
Thank you.
And the mowing and capital equipment, it shows that only 1% of the budget has been used. If I'm looking at this right?
That's getting ready to change because we've had a couple mowers at Prairie Creek as well as the city parks that's went down. Blown engines, busted frames, the terrain is pretty rough. We've can only put so many Band-Aids on a wound, and we're gonna have to, so that definitely will be changing.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And now we will move on to talk to you about the parks. Hold
No,
on one
ready?
second. That is going to be, it's before that.
Cemetery. There's the tail end of it. Tail end of it.
It's towards there. You
Yeah, I got it.
got it?
Yeah, at least on this I do. This
Okay, hold on one moment. Harv. You ready, sir? You're fine. About 20, page 20.
Okay, so this before that as well. Okay, I'm gonna get there, I'll be ready.
I'll let Councilman Polk catch up.
Go ahead,
All right,
we're ready.
all right. Okay, so, under Parks, the foreman position went up by $99,366.
Well, that was last year, we voted that in.
In May.
Remember when I brought the proposal in front of the council, reorganizing the Parks Department, where we took the assistant park superintendent completely out and kept the working foreman / Prairie Creek superintendent. And so with the working foreman, we took that out of the, which was Matt's salary, we took out the city parks.
Okay,
And we done away with the assistant superintendent's position and to save some money in the parks.
okay. And then your secretary position, that's, reflects the 2%. Part-time went up $40,000.
Okay, our part-time money,
Yeah.
let's see, let me look here. Part-time. Okay. Last year, we took in, we had $100,000. And if you see, last year, we used $139,000 for part-time money. So we basically had to rob Peter to pay Paul toward the end of the year with transferring some money where we had an employee that had passed away.
Yeah.
So we took the money and put it up there in a part-time money to get us through. That's why it's went up. Last year, we was over on that line item by $39,000 something dollars, so almost to $40,000.
And so you've just adjusted the budget to give a
Yes.
more realistic picture of what your needs are.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. And your park superintendent went up, and that again reflects the changes that were made last year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that went up.
That council
10,000.
voted on.
Okay. Urban forester mechanic, heavy equipment operator, groundskeeper, all of those reflect the
2%. Yes, ma'am.
And then again, Mr. Niemeyer, even with all of those substantial salary increases, the Social Security, Medicare, PERF, were not changed. Will that be an issue with those substantial?
Plenty of money.
Okay, making sure. And then we move on to health insurance went up, life insurance, no changes. Unemployment went up by $20,000?
Again, we're told to increase that because of, again, the changes. Don't know who will be replaced as such and who will be drawing on employment, just making sure that the next administration, making sure they're covered on that.
Okay. And programs for recreation, it stayed the same. I'm just was going to say how wonderful those programs have been. I've had a lot of good feedback this summer over that, and I really wanted to compliment you on that as far as just getting those programs up and running. And I know that you've done it piecemealing over the course of the years as far as coming and asking for a little bit more and a little bit more. And now I think you've gotten that level where it really, you're able to meet the needs of the programming and still be a good steward with that money. I've just heard wonderful things about it, and so I just wanted to.
Well, I'd like to take the time, too, to thank the council. I know all of them's not here, but because I remember when we came in 2012, there was $0 in that line item, and didn't have any programming. So
Right.
I do appreciate that very much.
Okay. And then we're moving down to gas and oil went up. But you were explaining that you have more trucks.
Right, and we, different type of equipment. Now we have 2 bucket trucks. We have a few more diesel vehicles, too. So we don't just get it from our distributor. Sometimes we'll fill up over our mowers, as well as our Peterson truck will fill up over the sanitary district, and we have to pay them back for that, as well as the street department, the same thing. Our diesel, we have to fill up out there because we do not have diesel.
Okay. Are any of your trucks natural gas?
No,
None of-
no, we've looked into that, grant-wise.
Okay.
The only way with our budget like it is, the only way we could do that, it'd have to be like an 80-20 budget, because a 25%,
Yeah.
75%, us paying the 75% doesn't do us a bit of good on a $250,000 piece of equipment.
Okay. True. Yeah, the converting it over would be more costly than it would be worth. Okay. Telephone went up about $1,500. Does that reflect the internet as opposed to actual telephone usage?
Actually, just the telephone usage in general, and see, the Parks Department actually pays also for some of the community centers phones as well.
Oh.
So, just the overall use, to be honest with you. Because our internet's slow, but nothing like Prairie Creek, and IT has done an excellent job here in the last 2 or 3 months with it.
Okay. Electricity went up $10,000.
Yes, we've added lights, like over at the Ball Court Park. We're adding some over off of Wheeling at the Haldeman. Been working with the neighborhood association over there on a park. It will not be a full-blown park, as Councilman Polk can tell you. In our meetings with the neighborhood and everything, there's going to be a lot of money to raise. Put in a new park, a full-fledged park is arm and a leg, and the Parks does not have it in their budget to do that. We're doing what we can, improving some of the tennis court. We're converting over half of it to a tennis court. The other half, the second court, will be a pickleball court, as well as a basketball court. We redone that. redoing the volleyball pit, tetherball. For the first time in I don't know how many years, Councilman Polk could probably tell you, but you can actually see from one road over into the next row of houses. We've done a lot of physical work out there cleaning up that area, so we've got some good ideas that I hope the next administration will take and follow through on and make sure that gets done because, you know, there's a lot of kids in that neighborhood and they definitely need something out there.
Okay. And then water went up about a little bit more than $3,500.
I'm going to point this way right here, and that'll sum that up real quick. Tui Pool.
Can you give us an update on the lightning strike insurance
Yes.
situation?
That is opening weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
That Saturday night, early Sunday morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning, Sunday. The pool area, well, not the pool directly, but the pool area was hit by lightning. Took out one of our filterization pump. It took it completely out. That was right at $8,000. We had to basically open the pool the second time. So that's definitely not cheap within itself. We got knocked our heater out, or the surge did, as well as our electrical panel. We got the electrical panel fixed in-house, but I think we're going to have to end up putting a circuit board on the pool heater. But we did get the pool up, the pump running and everything. Now we're just going back and forth with the insurance company right now.
I was gonna ask.
Because of our large deductible. We have, in our, small budget, we're taking and trying to, and one good thing about it, we have lost revenue, and it was down for right at a month.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a pretty picture for, last year we only lost $16,000 in the city pool, which was a record low. And so like I said, we don't, I'm not for sure, I can't give you the total figure. But we're doing everything we can to cover the cost through the insurance.
Okay, thank you. And so trees and weeds went up $15,000.
Trees and weeds, the Urban Forestry Department is 2 people. They've done an outstanding job. I wanted to say somewhere took down in the last, going on 8 years, they took down about 600 trees. And these are unhealthy trees, especially with the emerald ash borer. A lot of unsafe trees throughout the city of Muncie, not just in the parks. And they're going to need some help. Some of them trees, we don't have the equipment to get some of these trees. So we're going to work on a couple methods to try to get it done. And they will need a little extra money to try to contract that stuff out. And because the trees aren't, getting any better, the ones that's affected is just getting worse.
Okay. And your sales tax went up by about $3,400?
Right.
And is that the sales tax that we're paying for?
The cabins and the Tui pool. So, yeah, it's gone up quite a bit.
Okay.
And that's a good thing. That means we're renting the cabins more, and we're also taking in decent money at Tui.
All right, and then capital equipment went up $10,000.
Well, what happened last year, that was cut by 10,000, and I'm not for sure where that came from, but the year before that was asked for it to not be cut, and it got cut anyways, and that's what we spend to get our mowers and stuff. So it was originally 40,000, so I took it back up to the original, especially since we are going to be buying mowers in the city parks as well.
Okay. All right. Councilman Polk, do you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, I just have, looking at the income statement again on that, capital equipment. It looks like the prior year you had spent, $40,274.
Right.
Yeah, and then this year, you're about 15.5 so far as of all.
And we have another payment coming out at the end of the year for the 2017 trucks that we bought in the Parks Department.
Okay.
So then that will take.
Council,
I'm good.
all right. Having no more questions, your budget, sir, went up $128,364.
And if you remember right, that's one of the few times since 2016 that the Parks budget has went up at all. You know, so thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. That concludes the departments which we will be addressing tonight. So having heard all of that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Powell?
Yes.
Polk?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Yes.